Okay, the little light is on, so I assume that means we're good to go.
Yep.
Yes, okay. Welcome everyone to the first IGDA event of the fall season 2026. I'm Henrik Harmans from September Games, and tonight I'm gonna talk about my video game Bounty Trail, which I'm working on. And later on, Henri Tervapura will do a presentation about Voltage High Society. He's running a bit late, but he'll show up any moment. Yeah, so the indie devs struggle to stay focused on one project at a time. I'm sure everyone knows this, like you're working on something and eventually it gets boring and you just like want to move on to something else. My cure against that is like in the daytime I'll work on my main project, and in the evenings I'll allow myself to work on a side project if inspiration strikes. Whenever I wrap up one of my main projects, I'll usually just like take one of these side projects to be the next main project. So yeah, late 2023, this is when I was working on my last game, Pogo People, which is like a physics-based pogo stick platformer. But yeah, I was playing games like Dredge and Spiritfarer, and these games are very unlike the games that I make. They're like very... they don't have like challenging hands-on gameplay, but they're still really captivating. Dredge in particular, I just felt like you could make a game that's like all menus and like meters and progress bars, and it would still be compelling if you made it right. So I wanted to try to make a game like that. So from there, Project Sandfarer got started. And the starting point was Spiritfarer's navigation system. Spiritfarer is this game where you're like shepherding souls into the afterlife, and it's like a 2D side-scrolling game. You're driving this big boat which you run around on, and sometimes you dock and like run around on islands. But I really like the navigation system in it, where it's like this, on the boat you run into the like control cabin, and you open up a big map view and set coordinates in XY coordinates. And then when you go back out, the ship is moving and like going towards the right because it's side-scrolling. And like if the route you plotted like goes past some other island, sometimes you'll see that island in the background. So I loved this navigation system, and I wanted to try to do something like that, but in the desert. So the original idea for this game I was thinking about was actually like a post-apocalyptic Mad Max kind of thing, where you would like set coordinates on a map, and then it would cut to this side view of a car that's driving through the desert. But as I worked on it, I just kind of I didn't know what the side view where you're driving the car would be about. I couldn't think of like any good gameplay for that. So let's see. Okay, this is a very early gameplay right here from February 2024. Yeah, it's so early that it still says mobile people. But yeah, you can see right here, I've already kind of started going away from the Mad Max idea and more towards a Western thing. Okay, yeah, and here you can like sleep. And oh yeah, I had like this bullet economy in the game as well, where you could like spend a bullet to improve your aim, but that leaves you with fewer bullets during the upcoming shootout instead. And right here we see like this was going to be the side-scrolling view. That's as far as I got on that before I just gave up on that and just focused on the map view instead. Oh yeah, that was it. So yeah, this was February 2024. I think during like the preceding Christmas break, I probably started working on this, and I I kept quiet about it for a while I was working on it. This is half a year later, September 2024. Can I just pause this? Yeah, so the player silhouette. This is, I still wanted to have like the side view where you see your character on the horse riding. And I was thinking about how to do it. I was thinking like maybe just like a small window in the corner, so it's like the Doom guy's portrait. You get like a view of how the player is doing, sort of. But then I had this idea that to just like put him in the forefront as a silhouette and just have the map behind it. Oh yeah, and here I have the city as well, or a small town. Oh yeah, and here you can actually run into the bounty as well. He's walking around randomly on the map and you can run into him. But yeah, I didn't have the function for like arresting him yet. So yeah, this is when I really start thinking about the game loop and like what this game is going to be like to play. So you start out in your bounty hunting agency. Then you pick a bounty from the board. And then you have like a few days to walk around in this territory, find the bounty and bring them in, dead or alive. After that, you return to the agency and spend the XP you've earned on upgrades. Then repeat. Ultimate goal is to pay off a $10,000 debt. And the time limit is 4 months, from September to December 1881. This is from December, so another 4, I think, quite intense months of work, because the game has come quite far along here. This is the agency view, where we have the upgrade screen and calendar and the bounty board with different bounties. And a bit of tutorialization. Oh yes, and as you see, the silhouette works differently here. Having it in the middle of the screen was too distracting, it covered too much. So here I have him like panning over to the side, and if you're riding to the west, he goes to the right of the screen and vice versa. But this was actually a bit distracting, according to my testers. So I just ended up, in the end, just having the silhouette stay on the left-hand side, which is how the game looks today. Okay, yeah, that whole confrontation UI has gone through a few iterations as well. So yes, half a year later, summer 2025, Pogo People is done and out. It took way too long. I spent 3.5 years on that game and it did not sell well. So after that, I just felt like, you know what, I want to make shorter games next. It's gonna be like under a year and done. That did not work out either. As you know, it's been a bit over a year now, and I'm aiming for a September 1st release date, so it's almost there. Almost there. Yeah. Oh, and there's a whole bunch of the title ideas that I sort of workshopped and asked people what they like, and yeah, Bounty Trail is what I ended up going with. which is, I think it's good and simple, and there's nothing else out there with that title except for one Star Wars fan film about Boba Fett. So I felt like, well, no one's gonna mix those up. Oh yeah, I should also say that like a big part of the reason why I picked Bounty Trail over any other prototypes, because I did have a few other prototypes which I felt kind of good about, is I sent this version out to people, version 0.27, and had them test it. And you know, testing in indie dev is not the same as in big AAA where you have like dedicated testing departments. Testing when you're an indie dev is just you send a copy of the build to your friends and they play it for 15 minutes or half an hour or whatever and say, hey, yeah, that's okay. This one, with a lot of my previous games, by the time I released it on Steam, I might be the only one who's played through the whole thing. But this one, like several people played through the entire prototype, which is a few hours long. And already in this state, you can like play through all 4 months and pay off the debt and like win the game. Like it was complete in that sense already at this point. So the fact that people like actually like play through the whole thing made me feel like, okay, yeah, this is a good sign. On the flip side of that is it's not necessarily the most interesting game to look at. It's not necessarily the most interesting game to look at, so I felt like maybe it might not stream as well, which is also something I'm very mindful of when selecting the next game to build, you know, because pretty much all my success on my previous games comes from streamers playing it and like word of mouth getting out, because I don't have any marketing budget or anything like that. So that was a good sign. So summer 2025, I started working on this thing. This is yet another half year later. This is when I do the announcement, put up the Steam page, and the trailer to go along with it. Briefly about what I'm using to make this Unity. I have started using Godot more and more for my more recent prototypes. So maybe some future game I'll move over to Godot, but for now I'm sort of stuck with Unity. I just have so much infrastructure set up there that it's just comfortable. As a sprite, I used to make the art, and the music is by a local country musician called Jerry Lindqvist, who used to have a band called Jerry and the Outlaws. Maybe you've seen them at Doo-Wop Club or something back in the day. And yeah, sounds are from Soundly and Freesound and various sound packs. And for marketing stuff like making the trailer, the visuals, all, and like key art and stuff, Affinity Photo. So yeah, in 2026, progress is steady, but not as fast as I'd hoped. But I do always try to start out with like a small idea, like the smaller the better, because the thing will always grow while you're making it anyway. So sort of it fills up to fill the shape of a big full release. Inspirations. This is a lot of stuff. I already talked about Spiritfarer and Dredge. Fallout. I only played Fallout 1 just before Fallout 3 came out, but I really enjoyed it. But most of all, this overworld map where you're walking around. And it's like this big black map, you can't see anything. And as you walk around, it sort of fills out grid by grid. And you have this time pressure as well. You need to find a water chip to bring back to the vault to save everyone. And I loved that sense of like not knowing where to go and having a time pressure to get the thing done. And I actually worked on Bounty Trail for like a year before I even realized, oh wait, this is Fallout 1. I'm just like making the overworld map in Fallout 1 basically. UFO had a lot of little bits and pieces here and there. I just love UFO 50. A couple of recent inspirations from this year. I played Civilization Revolution and Samson. Did anyone else play Samson? No. It met with mixed reception, so shall we say, when it came out earlier this year. It's like a GTA alike, but on a quite small budget. But it's about this guy who's trying to repay a big debt. So like day by day you do missions and repay the debt. And I felt like, wow, that's my game. That's what I'm making. I gotta play this thing. But the thing that actually inspired me in it was the way that they handled perks. I had recently put in perks in Bounty Trail, and the way I had them was each 5 player levels, you spin this big wheel and you get a random perk. But in total there's like 12 perks, and the player will get maybe 3 of them in a playthrough. And I kind of expect that a lot of players will just play through the game once, so they won't even see most of these perks. The way Samsung does it is each day you get a random perk. And I thought, oh, that's way better. So I changed the way my system works, so now you get a random perk at the start of each hunt instead. And I took out the big wheel and later on put it back in towns as a gambling thing, where you can spin the big wheel and lose all your money. Civilization Revolution, that's a PS3 and Xbox 360 Civilization game. Quite arcadey and minimalist. I've been playing a lot of like arcadey minimalist turn-based games lately. UFO 50 has some really good ones. But yeah, Civ Rev. The thing I liked the most there was the way that the battles work. Your pikemen will run into the enemy's archers, and your units have like 1.5 attack, and theirs have 2.0. And they start like bashing into each other, and like units start dropping off bit by bit. But it's still not entirely certain like if they're gonna win or you're gonna win, even if the stats are a bit uneven. And that was just a lot more exciting than the combat system in my game. The way I had it is the way that you saw in the trailer here, where both you and the bounty shoot each other at the same time. A percentage goes up and shows who won, and then that character dies, which feels appropriate for a Western, but not very exciting. So after Civ Rev, I remade my system and put like little health bars above the players' heads. So now they just like take turns, keep shooting at each other. Their health goes down, and eventually one of you wins. But even if you have better aim, it's not like set in stone that you're gonna win. So there's always a sense of tension all the way through it. Yeah, so Steam Next Fest was in June. This is an event that happens a few times per year, where you can submit your demo for an upcoming game to Steam. And I signed up for this early in the year and kind of forgot about it until a few weeks before the event and had to scramble to get a demo done. Only got a few hundred wishlists, but then like 2 weeks later, suddenly the wishlist start rolling in, and I have to like search around and try to figure out what's going on. And it's Chinese gamers started playing this thing, and on Chinese TikTok and Bilibili.com and their own streaming sites. And even though the demo is only available in English, it like caught on, and now I have 5,000 wish lists, which is like way more than I've had on any of my previous games. Pogo People had 1,000 by the time I released, and my previous two games like 300 wish lists each. Not big numbers, but also, it doesn't maybe necessarily correlate to success, because those first two games did end up selling great and Pogo People did not. But yeah, I'm feeling very, very good about this amount of wishlist, which is also why I'm like determined to get the game out in less than a month, September 1st. And of course, I made a new trailer to go with the Steam demo. Yeah, that was Jari Lundqvist's music as well. We were in Janne Hyöty's recording studio out on Buskroot and recorded it one Saturday in the spring here. Turned out really good. That was actually the music that I made for like the it's like an alternate version of the menu theme, which is going to be played during the end credits, but I ended up using it in the trailer as well. Oh yeah, I should speak a bit about some of the quirks of some of the special features of the trailer, I guess. For trailers, you usually want to do something special. And like really the only thing I've done here is I put in some debug keys which let me turn off the UI elements, and also one that lets me like increase the size of the silhouette here, because it just looks more exciting if it's a bit bigger, puts more focus on it. Because otherwise it's a bit of a minimalist game, so try to make it a bit more. And then also this start and end screens. These things, I actually made this in. There's a few different ways you can make this kind of animation where you have like multiple 2D planes and a 3D camera moving. In the past I've used After Effects and even Blender, but this time I did it all in Unity, and it's just like a good way to reutilize the key art to make a fancy end screen, you know. And this still has, yeah, this still has one. So yeah, I just added localization systems and proper endings. I have like a few special ending levels that you get to play depending on the choices you make throughout the game. I would say like all the critical stuff is in the game except proper translations. I want to have everything written out and done before I commission proper translations, so that'll be in the middle of this month. But yes, like still more this month. I'm still gonna put in some more sound effects. I need like rain sounds, some crickets during the night, that kind of stuff. And put in Steam achievements and improve the gamepad controls a bit. And then there's like a bunch of little things that are kind of not as critical, but a lot of little ideas I wanted to get in there. Actually, Kair had a really good idea when we spoke about this game like a year ago or something. He suggested putting in mirages in the desert. And that's something that I know exactly how I would do it. I just haven't gotten around to it. But that's like one of those things that, yeah, I still got to do that. And Henry also has some really good ideas about giving the bounties different traits that you would find out when you like do the investigation or find info about them. And that's something that I've been sort of implementing this week, but it's still a bit up in the air if I can get it before release or not. But that's something that would make the game add a bit more depth. So yeah, I'm working furiously on this thing, and I'm gonna try to get it released. I mean, I am gonna release it on September 1st, but I guess the question is in what state. But it's I'm feeling pretty good about it. So yeah, that's it. That's Bounty Trail. That's my presentation. Yeah, any questions? Yeah.
I was wondering about the dithering effects and things like those. Are they on a shader or do you do them manually? Or?
They are all like these. They are done in asset right, so no fancy shader stuff. Actually, like early this year, I did put in like a bit of post-processing, Unity's post-processing stuff, so I can like change the tint during day and night and more easily tweak stuff like that, and a bit of very subtle film grain which you can barely see. But yeah, not a lot of fancy shader stuff going on really. Yeah, I'm sort of waiting for a. Yeah, well, in this map it's quite plain, but like in different territories, I do have a slightly different tint to everything, which is, you know, when I started it, I tried to go for as minimalist a style as possible, Just like I picked this palette with like 6 colors from low spec palettes, and try to go with that. But as time has progressed, like things like the processing and stuff has added like more nuance to it, of course. But that's fine. I'm not following any strict rules about pixel art or anything else. I think those are good starting points. But like, if you wanna mess with things, you can and should. Yeah.
What platforms are you going to be releasing on the 1st of September?
Steam.
Just Steam, PC?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any plans for maybe future platforms like console or even Steam Deck?
Maybe. I mean, the only game I've released on consoles before is Fella, and that was like, the game did really well. So I had like I was in talks with lots of different publishers over the years. I don't want to do any of the porting stuff myself, so I'm looking for someone who can like port and publish. And eventually, like this Polish studio Pineapple Works ended up doing it. But yeah, came out in like 2025, like 5 years after the PC version. So yeah, it did so. This time, if this does well, I'll try to be like a bit more proactive in like chasing after publishers and trying to get someone to put it on consoles. But yeah, Steam Deck, like yeah, of course it works perfectly fine on Steam Deck. For my first 2 games, like Valve actually like sort of told me what to fix to get them approved, but that was years ago and I still haven't gotten around to it. I don't know. Is it worth it? Like, I mean, I feel like a lot of Steam Deck players, myself at least, I'll just play whatever and see if it works. Because I feel like most games work even if they're not officially verified. But yeah, all my games have like gamepad controls, so it's like easy. That way it's easy to get them on consoles and Steam Deck and whatnot. Yes.
Looks like the exploring the maps or territories is like the main thing you do. Are the territories like hand designed or is some procedural generation used?
The terrain. Yes, the terrain is like a big hand-drawn image, but like the positions of everything, like the town and farms and that's all procedural. And the roads and these like rough terrain areas. But yeah, like the under like there you see a bit of like 2D art that's like baked into the map.
Yeah, I was thinking like idea that maybe your bounty gets away and gets back to the area where you found it, so you could use some previous information you have gathered about the territory. You revisit it with some changes.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, no, when you go back to a territory, it is like procedurally generated again, so it's going to be different each time, which is a bit like, I don't know, magical or whatever, but it's just better from gameplay perspective, so I do it like that. For like hunting bounties that you've hunted previously, you do start out with a bit more information about them. And this week, as part of the trades thing that Henry suggested, I'm actually also reworking a bit how you learn information about bounties. Like they all have separate speed and stamina and number of henchmen they all have. So this in the version that I'm like, yeah, actually just today I put in this feature where you get like a list of their stats during the main game, and like the first time you see them try to run away from you, it fills in speed, average or high or whatever. And so this is like info that you retain if they get away and you chase them again.
Is it a conscious decision that it releases in September? This game.
You know, I've always kind of wanted to release my games in September. It feels logical, but it's just like they've always ended up just like being done early in the year. So it's been like March and April and February for my previous games. But this one just like, yeah, the stars align with this one, I guess. And yeah, the story in the game also starts on September 1st, so it all makes sense. Yeah, but yeah, if there.
Have you been doing a lot of game testing with random people with this one?
I've had it like here at the IGDA nights and things like that. Mostly it's people I know who have tested it, but yeah, I feel like it's mostly just the IGDA demo nights that's been like random people. Not that, I mean, the IGDA demo nights I usually know most people here as well. So, yeah. But yeah, maybe it's time for Henrik to do his presentation. Are you all set up? Do you have the Wi-Fi password?
But if there's no more questions, can we have a small break for 10 to 5 minutes so
Yeah,
everyone can